If you didn't know, it's the West Side West Coast. The land of milk, honey, silver, and gold. If you didn't know, it's the West Side West Coast. The worldwide web where we get told. If you didn't know, it is...
Hey, I didn't do the bonus task.
Don't worry. I figured. Sit your booty down and let me show you real quick before we get on to our next section.
What?
Just another day, you know. Alright, let's talk about the bonus task real quick. Here's where we left off in the last video. Can you tell me what the difference in output was?
What? Well, on the Python side, when you type in your input, it is on the next line. And in C++, there is a % symbol at the very end.
Yup, that's right. Let's look at how we can make the output the same.
Aw, don't squish me.
Now, there are two ways to add a new line in C++. The first option is to add / followed by the letter N after our phrase. The second option is to use ENDL, short for end line, after the question is output. Both methods will move the cursor to a new line after displaying the question. The % at the end of the output is simply part of VS Code's formatting. So no biggie.
Why does the C++ side look so different from the Python side?
That's because, in C++, executable code generally needs to be inside a function to run properly.
Did you say pull up to the function?
Alright, club kid, take a chill pill. I don't mean function as in party. A function is a block of code that you can use or create to do specific tasks. It helps a lot with keeping your code organized and readable, especially if you're going to have hundreds of lines of code.
Oh, boo. Not as fun as what I had in mind, but whatever.
Too bad, man. Let's for real start our lesson on functions. We'll start with Python, then C++, then JavaScript. In Python, this first line creates a function called greet that accepts a parameter called name. Inside this function, the provided name is combined with our string, and then returned to the end user. So in the next line, we ask the user a question and get their input. Then we use the user input and the greet function's parameter and let the code run. Here's what happens when we run the code. Now let's look at C++. You first specify the type of value the function returns, like an integer, string, boolean, etc. Here, we are saying that the data type this function returns is a string. It also takes a string parameter called name and returns similarly. This main function is where the program starts running. The code altogether works just as the Python side, but syntaxed differently. Here's what happens when we run the code. Lastly, let's take a quick look at JavaScript. We start a function by typing function and then the following syntax. We won't go through it line by line, but feel free to pause or revisit later to break down how this code snippet works. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments. We'll get back to you as fast as we can.
Dude, who are you talking to?
The audience, duh.
Dude, where?
Hush, child. Back to the lesson. Every piece of code with a function includes two essential components. 1. Function definition. This establishes the function by assigning it a name and defining a block of statements to execute. And 2. Function call. This invokes the function by referencing its name, triggering the execution of the defined statements. Like in our previous example, functions can also take parameters. This allows a programmer to influence the function's behavior by providing input. And an argument is the value provided to a function's parameter during a function call. Not every function requires parameters, it depends on what makes your code cleaner and more efficient. Choose what best fits your design and keeps your code easy to read and maintain.
That was a lot of words.
Hang in there for just one more minute, and we'll see everything come together. Most functions also use global and local variables. Global variables are declared outside of any function and can be accessed throughout the entire program, while local variables are declared within a function and can only be accessed inside that function. See? That last bit wasn't even a minute long. So yeah, that's the basics on understanding what are functions and how they work.
Why do we even need functions? Seems pointless.
Boy. Coding can be weird, but you really can't see why functions are helpful?
No.
Oh, my lord. Once you define a function, you can use it multiple times throughout a program, which helps avoid repeating code. Breaking a program into well-designed functions is a key skill in programming. It makes your code cleaner and easier to manage. Each function should have a clear purpose, and the main function in C++ should be easy to follow based on the sequence of function calls.
Okay, Socrates.
You ready for round 2?
Bring it on!